Hello, and thank you so much for joining me once again here at the Yoga Bo channel. My name is Bo, and today we're talking about modifications and variations for prone poses. Prone pose is typically one belly down on the mat or towards mat facing down. A lot of times your feet, knees are on the mat, or your shoulders, arms, chest. We'll go ahead and start with a downward dog. Some people would say it's a standing pose. I certainly understand the logic, but for this series, we'll just have it downward dog and about 4 or 5 more postures working towards the mat. Thank you so much for taking this journey for yourself and for with us as well. We're so happy to be here, and we'll go ahead and get started. This is not how you usually get into a down dog posture, but we're just going to jump right into it. So for down dog, our hands are at the top of the mat, fingers spread wide. Our feet are down at the bottom of the mat, and our hips are tall. Shoulders are down the spine, so we're not pinching our ears. And you can see over time, we kind of slowly work our way into the pose. It is one that certainly takes time, and you're always kind of working on and tweaking. If in this case, if let's say you're having some discomfort in your hands, maybe through arthritis or carpal tunnel, you can always lower down into what they call a dolphin on your elbows. If let's say your knees, you can always bend your knees if you like, give your lower back a little bit of help, keeping that spine nice and straight. That's the goal here. Um, you can also come down into a puppy pose, which is a great variation. Our brow can be on the mat, hands can be out front, or probably more comfortably right here if you like. All right, that takes us into child's pose. Child's pose is going to look something like this. Our big toes are close together. Knees can be close or far apart, whatever we like. And we'll just rest our head. We can bring our hands out front or side body. We can even bind them if you like. So these are the typical child's pose, how they would look. But let's say we're not feeling it in our knees, maybe not in our lower back. We can always incorporate a pillow or a blanket. This certainly helps. If you like, you can always rest your head on a blanket. If let's say you've got a headache, uh, you can also use a variation instead of child's pose. You can do the puppy pose once again, legs at a 90-degree, brow on the mat if you like, as such. And the next is a tabletop. The knees will typically be under our hips, hands are under the shoulders, maybe a little bit wider. Looks just about like this. And if we have some discomfort in our hands or wrists, we can always make fists. Some people will bring barbells to the mat. We can put a blanket, if we like, under our knees. Again, whatever we need to do to feel good, because we want to be able to hold this pose. Or let's say if we're doing some cow cats, where we're here in cow and here in cat, we want to be focusing on our torso, our spine, all of these abdominals regions. And so what we don't want to be focusing on is our hand and our knee pain and discomfort. So that's why if we're ever feeling anything uncomfortable, it's probably a sign that we need to back off a little bit or find an alternative. Uh, Working our way towards the mat, we're going to go ahead and get into our Sphinx and Cobra looking postures. Sphinx, elbows are going to be under your shoulders like such. If we're in, let's say, a cobra, it can be various heights or stages of a cobra. That's typically your hands under your shoulders. We're going to press down with our pelvic triangle right here in the middle. And when we press down in the pelvic triangle, it lifts our shoulders up. But to help with some discomfort there, you can always add a cushion or blanket. And also when you come up on, say, an inhale, you can always fall back down on the exhale. You do not need to hold that pose. You can certainly ride your breath. The last one that we'll take a look at will be a high plank, and maybe even a chaturanga, which is more of a low plank. You won't see this too often in a mind-body class, but you'll hear this in a lot of other yoga classes. So we'll go ahead and take a look at it. With the high plank, it's pretty much what you would think a push-up looks like. Your hands are typically under your shoulders, fingers pointed forward, and it's almost like a mountain pose, but you're parallel to the ground. Your low plank is going to look much like this. A good modification, by all means, just placing the knees down takes so much stress and weight off. You can also come down on the elbows if you like, if you have any kind of wrist or hand ailments. Whew. A lot more rolling around than I expected. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this up with a big inhale with the arms out and up. We'll bring our hands to gratitude, and with an exhale, bring them to our heart center. The light in me adores and loves the light in you. Thank you so much once again taking this journey. I'm going to say this quite a lot, but I really do appreciate it. I think you're making a great decision. I can't wait to see you in classes, and I will be catching my breath after this. Thank you so much. Ride that wave. Namaste.